Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. We're doing this shit. Mic check. Mic check. All right, we're here. Welcome back, everybody. This is the All Talk with Jem and Chris podcast. I know we've been away for a while. There's been some shit going down. You guys don't need to worry about it. But no, we're back now. Hopefully, we can get back to the shit. What's up, Jem? How you doing?
Hey guys, I am getting over a mental cold. So like Chris said, it's been a minute, but we are back.
We got a lot of shit to talk about. One thing we wanted to address is, like, I know at the beginning we were doing weekly episodes, and they were about 45 minutes or so. I feel like we weren't able to get enough shit out in 45 minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do bi-weekly episodes, and it's gonna be twice as long at least, and we can talk our shit and have more freedom to speak and whatever. So. Without further ado, let's get to the shits. What do you want to talk about first?
All right, let's talk about, let's do Chris Brown.
Chris Breezy, my boy. Okay, so some of you guys may know he was in Paris a few weeks ago, and there was a young lady, a female, that accused him of raping her, I guess, drugging her or whatever. I don't really read too much into it, but he was detained, obviously, in no bond. He spent a few hours in jail, but then they ended up figuring out that he was innocent, as she already knew, But the problem with this shit is that because of his past, accusations and the shit that went down with him and Rihanna or whatever, I feel like a lot of people were quick to jump on that shit, and they were quick to jump on accusing him, but like, yeah, he's guilty, oh, a piece of shit, whatever, but like, yeah, people, I mean, I get it. He fucked up. He beat a woman. There's no excuse in that, especially Rihanna, like, it's my baby. But, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, things happen and people can change. People can learn from their mistakes. And then at the end of the day, it's like, even the court says you're, innocent or proven guilty. And a lot of people are just quick to just jump on and say, nah, he did it. I know he did it. And then when the reports came out, saying that he was found innocent and he didn't do any of that shit, everybody was quiet. Nobody said anything. Nobody said, oh, we apologize for, throwing dirt on, Chris Brown's name and any of that shit. I just think it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's no facts for us to.
And I feel like on the woman's part of it, this makes it harder for people to believe us when we say, hey, listen, we've been sexually assaulted. And I feel like her making that false claim, without a doubt, she should be held, she should be sued, she'd be, brought to court.
Yeah.
Because it's a crime. It's a crime to say something that's not true. And I feel like you said, we understand the issues that went on with Rihanna. But this is a new year. This is something that they both would like to move past. And here we are, hanging him up to dry, but we don't hold this woman accountable for the lies that she's now put against Chris Brown.
Right. And I read that Chris Brown was actually going to press charges against her, rightfully. I mean, I would have too. But again, I feel like after all this rape and sexual accusations have been, recently coming out from a lot of different artists and a lot of different famous people and superstars or whatever. Like Jem said, it makes it hard for everybody to believe it, just because, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that it's easy to make something up like that, but it's also not hard for a woman to look for a payday, or a man, you know what I mean? Either way, you could be like, okay, shit, you know what? If I can say this about somebody, I might just get it paid just to shut me out, just because they don't want their name being dragged, whether it's a false accusation or not. The last thing anybody in power and anybody who's famous wants, it's their name being, associated with anything that has to do with sexual, accusations, rape, or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it just sucks, because for the people that really went through that shit, it makes it hard. It makes it hard to be validated, because like, okay, now how do we know you're telling the truth? Exactly. If homegirl just made up a lie, you know what I mean? So it just kind of it puts everybody back however many years and shit, because you can't just, until it's proved, you can't really, you can't just be like, yeah, it's true, you're not. You need proven, a lot of people just kind of, they're quick to jump into it and be like, oh, you know what, it's an easy payday for me, let me go ahead and do that. So
right, and
it just sucks. It's not something to be taken lightly at all. You can't.
And I feel like it came at the, I don't want to say right time, I'm saying this in a different type of context, with the R. Kelly tapes.
Yeah.
And then they tried to come out with this Michael Jackson Neverland, shit.
I'm worried.
And I feel like they thought it was going to be as big as R. Kelly's was, but R. Kelly is an actual predator.
Right.
This has been going on for years. And I feel like, Michael Jackson, God rest his soul, is not here to defend himself. And here we go again, accusing people of things that didn't happen. And, paydays and everything being, brought out to these people that made, these accusations to their parents. And I feel like we're living in a very delicate time where, I understand how men would be afraid. Then I understand that, some women never get the chance to tell their story.
Right.
And I feel like the woman doing this, she just set us back another 10 years because we're trying to make, positive strides to move forward and to be able to support victims and, to get men help that are in these type of situations. Because I feel like I'm not a big fan of Chris Brown, but I don't think that his name should be, put in the mud as he has a daughter and is trying to better his life.
Right.
Ever since he had that little girl, I've seen nothing but good things from him.
Yeah, he's definitely changed, me and from experience, a child will definitely change your ways and how you move and what you say and what you do completely. Like, you have to be a whole different person. And I feel like Chris Brown has done a really good job, changing his image since he found out about, what's her name, Royalty?
Yes.
She's a beautiful little girl. Beautiful. She's beautiful. And, he's definitely known that he knew he had to change, and he has been. So for somebody to try to bring him back down, it's disgusting to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sucks. Now, what do you think about, I don't know, I read somewhere that Michael Jackson documentary is coming out. It's pretty much, there's a lot of solid proof of the accusations. That worries me.
It kind of worries me, but at the same time, his family was very adamant on the fact that, they want his name to be at rest and things like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think the Michael Jackson thing was it just went on for so long. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everything that needed to be said has already been said and done. I feel like as Americans and as anybody in the world, who watches any type of Netflix or news or whatever, they have so much on Michael Jackson. So I feel like, what is the point of making this documentary? Right. What are they trying to do?
Right, what do you know?
If honestly, before the R. Kelly tapes came out, I didn't know that he was that big of a predator. I didn't know that these things were, all happening over the years. But I feel like as far as Michael Jackson, his life has already been put out for everyone to see, before his death, after his death. What more do we need to hear about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, the most I can see out of people now, okay, let's just assume, or let's just, put the scenario that the documentary does come out and they do end up, showing enough solid proof that he was indeed guilty of all the shit he was accused of. Okay, but now what happens? Like you said, he's dead. The worst is going to happen, okay, you're going to stop listening to Smooth Criminal and Thriller and all this other shit. But that's not really affecting anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I really don't, oh shit. Sorry guys, I just got some food.
We like to eat while we record.
We're going to eat now. We Gucci. Now we're really in our bag. Thanks, bro. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so I don't know, especially for somebody with a kid, we have kids, and it's a sore subject, and it's a really touchy subject to even think about because, Michael Jackson was an idol for me when I was young.
Right.
I used to listen to him, even when I came here with my dad, we listened to him in the car, and, his music was beautiful. I loved everything that he ever did. My dream was to see him in concert. So for this to come out, it worries me because obviously it's going to put a whole different perspective on me. And I, so it's it sucks. And
yeah, it scares you.
I wish they would just leave it alone. And I know that this is a way for maybe some of the victims or the victims' parents to speak out and be like, yo, this is how we went through. I get that. I understand. That's,
but I would also like the victims' parents too. The people that, that took money and took a payout. I want to know, why did they take money? I feel like if somebody, you and I as parents, if someone hurt our child, there is no amount of money in the world that I would take.
No.
I want justice. I don't want money. And I feel like it's disgusting that these people, you know, there's two sides to every story, but they have already dragged Michael through the mud. He is dead. He is never coming back to fucking life. You know, he's dead. So if this documentary, I needed to focus more on why these people, you know, some of these false accusations and all that type of shit.
That Thriller video, that shit was fake. He's not coming back from the dead. So it's like, I mean, what are we doing here? But, and like you said, there's no amount of money in the world that can write something like that and make, you know, that can fix something like that and make it right. You know, just like when you see all this news, or like, you know, the guy that was recently, you know, he was killed in New York, falsely, the black man, then the family ended up getting paid like $3 million. Like, first of all, that ain't shit. Second of all, like, are you gonna use that money to bring them back? No, you can't. So it's like, what is the point of the money? Like, this should have never happened in the first place.
Exactly, and
it's continuing to happen. Take that money and put it towards something that's gonna fix the fact that this shit keeps happening.
Right, help someone, you know, that needs something. Like, I feel like taking money from someone dying or something like that is just absolutely, it's insane. It just makes me angry. And I feel like that is the number one, you know, issue that we have going on right now as Americans. So I feel like with this, you know, with this documentary, I hope something good, you know, comes out of it. I hope something good comes out of saying this. But at the same time, you and I both know that people live to destroy other people's fucking lives. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So.
It's sad.
And I feel like you're trying to destroy a person's life who's dead. This man is dead.
Nobody, yeah. And it's hard, you know? And this is why it's like, okay, yeah, with R. Kelly, I'm glad that the shit came out because, like you said, a lot of people weren't aware of the nasty shit he was doing.
I had no idea.
You know what I mean? I knew a little bit of things here and there just because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately and there's a lot of shit I've been reading, you know. So I knew, but I mean, I didn't know it was to that extent. Like, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, I mean...
So, I mean, this is cool because there's people, you know, he can now deal with the repercussion of it. He's alive. Now, like, you know what I mean? Like, his record label dropped him.
FBI's
investigating him. Gaga, you know, got rid of the song that she had made with him and took it off the streaming sites. This is shit that's affecting him because he's still alive. What are you going to do with Michael? You know, like, I'm not saying that even if he was guilty that it's fine because he's now dead, but there's no reason for this to come out and drag somebody's name through the dirt who's already under the dirt.
Right,
no pun intended. You know what I mean?
So, I think... You know, as far as everything, we're going to see how this plays out. I know, you know, once the documentary is released, we're going to talk about it. We're going to, you know, both watch it. And it was really hard for me to watch the R. Kelly thing because it just made me so mad. It just made me so mad that it's taken this long for this type of shit to come out. I'm not going to lie and tell you that I'm interested, you know, in... I'm not really interested in seeing the R. Kelly... the Michael Jackson documentary. I could literally give a fuck less. But I feel like as people in the entertainment world and, you know, this type of thing, we have to watch it because we need to give our honest opinion and, you know, our honest thoughts on it. So,
yeah,
we're waiting for it.
Yeah, we have to. Like we said, we already brought it up. We could just be like, well, we're not going to watch it, but we're just going to talk about it. So, yeah, I'll definitely watch it when it comes out. And we'll definitely talk about it. And, you know, obviously we'll like to hear what you guys have to say about it and shit. But, you know, for now, that's all we can do is just wait and see what the fuck they say. Don't say, you know, and... All I want to know, all I want to see is that if there is accusations against the man, that there better be some solid fucking proof and not just he said, she said shit that we've been hearing for the past
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, and I hope the victims, you know, honestly, truly get help. I feel like if the parents are, they're so focused on this money thing, get these people help. Get them counseling. You know, if you guys are going to put this out, then you better be taking all the fucking proceeds and paying for their medication.
Every fucking penny.
And their mental treatments.
Every penny. Yeah,
you know? Sure. So... On that note, let's jump to...
Yeah, let's get off that for a minute.
Because I think we're both kind of getting, like, really into it.
Yeah.
And it pisses us off. I mean, like I said, as parents, we would never take any type of money for anything. No way. But let's talk about who I will give my money to. J. Cole.
J. Cole, my man, J. Cole. I love what he's been doing. So he's... I don't know if you guys know, but he's been working his ass off after he released his album, which was an amazing album last year, K.O.D., and he kind of took a different approach to that album, which is cool because, you know, a lot of people were just complaining about like, oh, you know, he's been doing the same shit over. So he took a different approach and I loved it. And then he went from not really doing features and just doing his own shit to now being on everybody's song since the better second half of 2018. And so, you know, he's been hopping everybody's features and he's been really cool thing is that he's been really more active on social media. He's been posting shit on Instagram and Twitter and everything. So it's cool to see him out there. I don't know if you heard of his latest track, Middle Child.
Yes, it's
she was
amazing. I've listened to it at least like 40 times since it came out. And I think, like you said, him being back and active on social media, there's a lot of people with social media accounts, and I truly don't know why they're allowed to have one. But J. Cole is someone that I actually do want to hear what he has to say.
Because he's one of the people he's one of the like artists that people like his fan base really looks for what he's saying and really take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like and it's cool to see him that he's aware of all the shit that's been going down, and he's aware of what the rap game is, and he's aware of like what people have been saying about him and his label, and just
he's a good influence
in general. And he's a very good influence,
and I
like all the subtle shots he took, like the Middle Child, where he talked about Kanye, when he talks about like he's not gonna go start a beef, he's not gonna make a diss track or take shots at anybody just for the fame, or because his like I say, his shit is selling the same, or to sell you his latest little sneakers. He's doing it. If he's doing this because he really wants to smoke a rapper, so
it's cool to see somebody
It's cool to see somebody really bringing hip hop back to what it used to be about. Where people were really dissing each other just for the culture, not just because I'm promoting an album, or my people ain't really bumping my music the way that they used to.
And I want to add, since we're talking about this too, I kind of want to bring in Tory Lanez, because he did mention, trying to out rap everyone to get to J. Cole. And I don't know if he's doing this for publicity, because I'm going to be honest 100%. With you, I have never actually heard a Tory Lanez song that wasn't like a feature. And I mean, on the features, he's freaking great. Like, I'll, sing along to it. But I feel like some of these men are not realizing, like, some of these artists were born to be lyrical. And I mean, like you said, JID and, J. Cole. Everybody. They're rappers. Right. And I feel like just because they're not up, people are not like all over them, they're still very, very talented. And, Tory Lanez came out with this ridiculous notion that, he was going to be top in the game and stuff. And I feel like, stay in your lane, do your little features, make your little,
no pun intended, stay in your lane.
Right. Like, exactly. Like, do what you have to do to just get by and pay your bills. Because some of us don't have that luxury to even, say, okay, well, I have, $20,000 in the bank right now.
Well, I just don't like the whole thing when he said, I'm going to go through the whole Dreamville act, the whole Dreamville, camp, just to get to J. Cole. Like, fam, you're not going to get past JID or Bass, so you're not even going to see J. Cole. If in the event that J. Cole does decide to respond, you know what I mean? Here's the thing. I respect what Tory Lanez is doing. I think it's dope, because it brings back that, that competitive, feel, that competitive, like, nature of that hip-hop used to be in. So it's cool, but like he's been going at these rappers, like not to talk bad about them, but Joyner, he won at Joyner. A lot of people believe he won that battle. Then he went at Don Q, and people believe he won that battle. But here's the thing, like, you can't compare them. Honestly, to me,
is a thug.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, Joyner and Don Q are far, far more lyrical than Tory Lanez is. Tory Lanez just kind of knew what to say. He took the right jabs at them, and he came out winning. But as far as like, am I gonna think that you're a better rapper than Joyner and Don Q because you beat them? No, it's not one of those things where like we knew that when, not to bring this up again because I'm biased, but when we bring back the Rap Devil and Killshot little era where M and MGK went at each other, we knew Eminem was gonna win because Eminem's a way better rapper. And this wasn't the case, obviously, but I'm not taking away from Joyner or Don Q losing, because I still think they're far more talented and they're far more lyrical than Tory Lanez is. Right. You know what I mean?
I just want to interrupt this real quick. I know you guys, by the time this hits, you'll already have heard about this. So apparently 21 Savage got arrested by ICE because he's originally from the UK. So they are arresting him and saying that he's in America unlawfully. And I feel like nobody would know unless you were popping off all this shit and trying to be so fucking, people come to America as immigrants and live here for 30 years with nobody finding out. Mm-hmm. And if you know that you don't have your papers straight, why the hell are you out here on everybody's music video, making yourself known, throwing your identity out there? What if you're on some type of wanted list? I feel like these people, they just are out here doing the most, trying to show off and do all these things. Now look at you.
Yeah, that's wild. I did not even know that. That's crazy.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce what his real name is because...
Yeah, we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I don't have time for this.
That's crazy. Shit. Okay, so that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was from there. I thought he was... Like for some reason I thought he was from Atlanta.
So they're saying basically he entered the country in 2005 with a visa. It expired in 2006, and he's been here ever since.
Also supposed to be like a vacation visa,
right? Getting in trouble with the law and everything. So basically, I mean, I hate to say this and to sound like a jerk, but it really is kind of his fault. He put himself in this situation. Right. Don't come here knowing that you're not supposed to legally be here, under his, pretenses, and start making millions of dollars, and then expect for things to be okay.
It just sucks for him because he had really just like recently gone in a whole new direction with his like image, and he started. I don't know if you heard about that foundation he started to like teach kids how to save money and everything. And
right. He really, I think after the Amber Rose thing, the breakup,
he just changed his
He just
lane.
became a different person.
Right, and it sucks because now this shit, I mean, I'm sure he'll probably, get past it. He'll probably pay, however much it is and make everything right. But it sucks me as, no one as an immigrant. Like, that shit sucks. Again, not that it will happen to me because I'm legal here. Get off my dick. But, for other people, that would suck. So, we're back to the J. Cole. We don't have, I don't really have much else to say about it. I like the direction that he's going. He's working on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, which is like a compilation mixtape or album from everybody on Dreamville Records. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. Like, if you guys heard the second one, it was amazing, the first one. So, be on the lookout. It should be out soon. I don't know if Middle Child is gonna be part of the album, or it's just him coming out with a song talking shit, or if it's something that's gonna be on the off-season mixtape that he's coming out with, because he's supposed to be coming out with a lot of shit this year. Like, we have like I said, the Revenge of the Dreamers mixtape. He's got the off-season mixtape. He's supposed to have the Kill Edward mixtape, which is his like alter ego that you guys might have heard on the KOD album. It's probably nothing but that on. That has got a lot of shit coming out. So, and he's supposed to be performing at the halftime NBA All-Star game with Meek Mill. I mean, I'm excited to hear, to see that. I don't really, give a fuck about basketball, but I'll definitely be on the lookout just because I know that Meek and J. Cole is supposed to have a collab coming, and that might be the first time we hear it. So, I'm excited. That's another, person that I like to, give props to Meek Mill after, he went through the whole shit, he got out of jail. He's definitely became a better person. He's gone in a whole different direction. He's, he's working with Diddy and Jay, and they're doing all this shit to help
a lot of
kids.
Stuff, a lot of stuff for the community,
right? So it's cool. So shout out to Meek Mill. I didn't like him before because he got bodied by everybody that he got on beef with, between Game and Drake and. But shout out to him. He's definitely.
We would talk about the Game's beef, but that's a whole episode in itself.
You gotta give
Homeboy is wilding out.
Game, nasty award of Game. That's wild. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Right, we'll save that for another episode. Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. The whole J. Cole thing. I'm excited to see what he's coming out with this year and all the direction. Like you said, like he said on his album or his Middle Child song, he's got this year's a whole different. He's going in a whole different direction. So I'm really excited to see and hear what what he's going to be coming out with in the rest of the Dreamville. But I'm not excited to see is Travis Scott sell out performing at the fucking Super Bowl. Not that I'm watching the Super Bowl.
Yes, my plan was originally to watch the Super Bowl, obviously with your best friends, and I record this podcast with my best friend, my husband. But ever since I was doing a little bit of research, I really think that I don't want to say boycott because I really don't like that term right now in this day and age, but I'm just not going to give my energy or my time to the Super Bowl. I feel like every year, this is going to sound so stupid, but it's the same thing. None of these teams really, to me, have any type of heart. I feel like now, I don't even think they actually care about playing. I think they just obviously care about money. And I don't care about that. I'm poor. So what is the point of me watching all these people go and perform and all this bullshit? And especially with Travis Scott being the sellout and the dickhole that he is, I really don't feel the need for me to give him any of my attention.
Well, to me, it was like, I mean, when I heard about Travis Scott deciding to perform for the Super Bowl after everything that, has been going down since the whole Kaepernick thing, it was a little surprising. And then I heard somebody say, oh, well, he said he agreed to perform at halftime at the Super Bowl if they donated $500,000, if the NFL donated $500,000 to whatever foundation he chose. So then I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's a little more respectable. I'll get behind that. And then I found out that nobody ever gets paid for halftime shows. The NFL always just donates money to whatever foundation. So this is nothing new. This is not something that Travis Scott just started and say, oh yeah, well, you know what? I'm not getting paid, but you better donate. Nah, fam. Like, they always do that. So now I'm like, okay, why? To me, Travis Scott he's not the artist that needs that kind of attention. Like, he's already made himself. Look
at who they've had, perform the halftime show. Michael Jackson, Beyonce, right. Lady Gaga.
Janet Jackson.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Shout out to Janet Jackson.
I'm trying to figure out, yes, it is Janet Jackson Appreciation Day. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out where Travis Scott fits into that. And I feel like it's very strange because I follow Hollywood Unlocked. Shout out to them. Shout out to Jason Lee. But, at the same time, I'm very confused because I don't understand what kind of impact Travis Scott is making on people that it's getting to this point. I'm very confused. He's selling out shows and he's selling out shows and everything. And I'm trying to figure out how. Like, I just need someone to explain to me. His music just sounds very basic. It sounds very rave-like. So I'm not really 100% sure on why everybody thinks it's so popular. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. No,
I'm behind you on that. And coming to the point you said about his music being so rave-like and him being more of a rock star, and his shit, it doesn't really. It just kind of takes away from like what he stands for and what he believes in with his music. Going to the Super Bowl and feeling like he needs to perform. Like, you're dating a Kardashian. You're already, you know what I mean? You don't need any more publicity. Your album was amazing,
I mean, it was good.
It was a good album. So it's already been a while. Your song Sycamore still plays on the radio. It's a dope song, whatever. So why do you feel like you need to perform at the Super Bowl? Publicity-wise, why? That's the part that I'm failing to understand. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a new act that needed to put their music out there and get more people to listen to and fuck with you, okay. Cool, I get that. I'm not justifying it, but I understand that more. But when you're Travis Scott and you've already had your run, you already had amazing albums. Rodeo was great. Birds Sin McKnight, whatever album, I forgot the name, was a great album.
Bryson. Oh, okay, yeah.
And that one
Bryson
that he came
McKnight,
out with.
Yeah, Brian McKnight, yeah.
And then, Astroworld was a great album. So to me, I don't understand why you feel like you need to perform at the Super Bowl, especially when you're not getting paid, because I know a lot of these rappers are like, okay, well, if the money's right, I'll do whatever. Or not just rappers, artists. You're not getting paid. So I'm failing to understand why you are performing the Super Bowl, and the worst thing is, like, alongside Maroon 5. Like, why?
I've never been so confused in my life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you guys do they have songs together?
No.
I feel like they...
I don't think
they do. So why? It's like Maroon 5 should have just taken care of the halftime
that's
show.
what I said. Cool. A friend was talking to me about the halftime show. Are you excited? Because they obviously know I'm into music. But I was really confused when they were like, "Oh, it's Travis Scott and Maroon 5." I feel like Maroon 5 they're a pop band, right. And they've done stuff with Future, with Cardi B, with 50 Cent, with Eminem. Awesome. Let them take this and let them do the halftime show. I don't understand why he's there. I really just feel like. And I feel like this is another thing. A lot of people watching the Super Bowl are either super conservative people, and they literally were so upset when Beyonce performed, at the Super Bowl, and she performed her set, in it's Black History Month. They were so angry and felt like she was attacking them personally when she performed. Then it's like, you're following in the footsteps of these people, and then, you as a black man, you want to go and parade yourself up there for what? I mean, they're not going to care about your show.
No,
they don't know any of your songs. So, I mean, it's a little...
He's just not the type of artist. He doesn't make the type of music that would fit in well at a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It just does. I don't understand. So
I'm confused.
If any of you guys have more insight of why the fuck he's doing it, please write me.
Yeah, tag us, DM us, because we're confused.
Yeah, because I don't know, but let's get off Travis Scott, because I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. But I do want to congratulate him for his kid, Stormy.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Congratulations. It's cool. She's healthy.
She just turned 1.
Yeah. So happy birthday.
Insane.
And he seems like he's he's a good dad, and he's really about the fatherhood. So it's cool to see people step up to that role.
Yeah, young parents watching young parents.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Right. And now let's get the fuck off of Travis Scott and
let's dive into some more personal
shit.
Yeah, real
more personal shit. Let's talk about me for a little bit. Let's talk about me. I finally moved out of my parents again. I was, I lived on my own for a while. Then I ended up moving in with my daughter's mom. As we all know, that shit didn't work out. So I went back to them, and I finally moved the fuck out. No offense to them. Shout out for them taking me in and all that bullshit. But it feels nice to be on my own again. You know what I mean? It feels nice, but at the same time, it's kind of hard getting used to again. Just because it's like it's a different vibe. Like you're on your own, like you're alone most of the time, and it's kind of hard and a little hard to kind of get back into that energy. But I like it. I'm glad that I made that decision. Being on my own again, doing my own thing, just doing better for me.
Yeah, it's good to have your own space.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, this freedom. And not that I didn't have freedom, because, I'm fucking 28. Like, do as I please, because, your parents trust you when you're not fucking around, they trust you. But it's just having that freedom to, you know what I mean? Like, just doing my own thing. You know what I mean?
And I think with me, I lived with my parents for a bit too, and I always felt like you said, your parents are, they're grateful that you're there and they take care of you regardless. Mm-hmm. But I always felt like I was stepping on my parents' toes. Like, I wanted to have friends over and I wanted to do certain things. And as much as our parents love us and we love them, it just wasn't the same. There's nothing like having your own space and being on your own and knowing that, hey, I have this responsibility, A, B, C, and D or whatever. So it's really an awesome step for you to be able to be on your own again and doing your own thing.
You think it's different? Do you think it's different, like, as far as you... Let's just talk. Do you think it's different as far as a female bringing a male friend over to a house that your parents live in? Is it different? Is it looked at differently than a guy?
Yeah, for sure. I would never in my life.
I think so too, right?
Yeah, I would never in my life bring over any type of man, any type of other entity with a penis into my parents' home. When I lived there.
Gotta say now. We can't assume.
And I feel like as soon as I did, my parents would be like, "Okay, so you out here being a hoe," And I'm from a Haitian family, and it's very looked down upon. Unless you are married to that person, there's no reason why a penis needs to be in your environment unless it belongs to your brother or your dad.
Right.
So I think it definitely is different.
I think it's the same way in that, like, Hispanic community, because I remember when, I was younger and my sister still lived with us and she tried to bring her boyfriend over. My parents like, yeah, you can come over, but the door isn't fucking shut. The door's open. You hang out in the living room if you want to hang out. There's no alone time with you two. You don't need to be alone. When I brought girls over, go to your room. I don't give a fuck if you're even here or not. You know what I mean? So she always got mad. And I was just back then, I was like, I would laugh. And then I would think about it. I'm like, it's kind of fucked up. Like, you should let us both do our thing. But I understand why. Now that I have a daughter, you're never having a fucking kid over. Door open or closed. I feel like that goes. We're all gonna hang out in my room. We're all gonna hang out in my room.
We can all hang out together and watch, Barney. Because I feel like and I think for me, having a son, I would never allow him to be at a certain age alone with a girl in his bedroom.
You know what? That's a problem, because I look at it the opposite. I'm like, yeah, do your thing, bro. If I had a son, I'm like, my man.
See,
you know what I mean? But if it's a girl, I'm like, no.
I'm a very, I don't want to say I'm a helicopter mom, but low key I am, because anytime any young girls like, oh, do you want to hang out? I'm like, no, we can all hang out.
Yeah.
We, as in me, you, and my son.
Yeah.
So, it's like when he gets older, I kind of want to keep that same energy. Like, my parents never allowed me, and they never did it with my brother either. So I'm thankful that my parents are just assholes to both of us. Right. It was like nobody's having anyone over.
Yeah. It's weird, because like when I started kind of dating or whatever while living at my parents' house, and they would ask me, they always ask you, like, do you live alone? And I was, because I hesitated, like, well, see what happened was, look, I'm working on it. You know what I mean? You always got to give an excuse. You don't want to be that guy, like, yeah, I'm 28, still living with my parents, because they're like, oh, you're a bum. You're trash. So,
but I feel
you always kind of like, you know what I mean? But
That's another thing too, is like I was listening to a radio show and I heard them talking about, this girl didn't want to date this dude because he lived with his parents. Mm-hmm. First of all, people are still getting their lives together. It's literally 2019 and we still can't afford to pay any type of bill.
Yeah, no, she's
so I feel like if you can combine your bills and you're helping your parents out, they're helping you out, why should you be looked at differently because you live with your parents? I mean, this is not 1954. Everything doesn't cost 75 cents anymore. Like we have actual bills to pay, student loan payments. The same people that forced us to get our education to become something, now we have like thousands of dollars in debt. Yeah. So I feel like for me, living with my parents helped me save about, $5,000 to move out to do my own thing.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't look at it like that. But then you kind of like I would tell the females, like, oh, well, you come over to the crib, whatever. And then they're kind of like, oh, but I thought you live with your parents. I'm like, yeah, I do. But, they kind of get a little uneasy, like, oh, they don't care, like, that you're in a room with a female they don't know. And then I'm like, nah, they're cool. But it's like, I think about it, if I was a female, none of that shit would fly. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy how, like, two-sided that is, but it's I guess that's what it is. But I'm glad I'm on my own again.
Right.
Don't worry about that. Not just because I want to bring females over, because I'm done with that shit.
But I think for you, like I tell a lot of my friends, whether or not you're getting out of a relationship or you're trying to do for yourself, it's nice to just be on your own for a bit. I remember after my divorce, I was really like in a bad place, and I feel like I had a good 6 months to be alone. And that 6 months completely changed my life. I started going to the gym. I started being active. I lost, like 10 pounds. And I just felt really good about myself. I was in a better place for me and my son.
Oh, for sure. It's good to have that. Like the same thing. Like when I moved back in with them after everything went down with, my daughter's mom, it was cool to kind of have something to fall back on. It. Like I'm the kind of person that doesn't really like to talk about shit like that with family. You know what I mean? Just because I don't think they understand. Because they come from a different time. Right. So I don't really expect them to understand. So I don't really like wasting my time trying to get them to understand. So I keep the shit to myself. But it's cool having somebody there that, to fall back on and talk to you if you ever feel like you need to. Plus, you're not gonna be your parents cooking. Your mom's cooking? Nah, fam.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That's the one thing I miss. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to come over. Like, are you guys cooking? I'm coming over. Like, would you move out then? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm the same. But my parents live next door, and I'm always eating at their house.
Yeah, man. It's like
But yeah, I think it definitely is good, to give yourself some space from people. And,
right. That's what I'm doing now. Like, it kind of sucks, I don't want to. I'm not bringing this up because I don't want to talk about, But yeah, it's hard, because you give yourself time and then you kind of put yourself back out there. Sometimes it blows up in your face. So it's like I say that to say that like you got to be careful with who you're kind of giving your energy to.
Yeah,
and who
your time.
Because people's intentions don't always are what they seem. So just,
and not everybody's worth your time.
Not everybody's worth your time or energy. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And people ain't shit. And we're moving on now. What we talk about now?
Let's talk about. So everybody's seen the Fire documentary. Basically, this dude Billy who put all his eggs in one basket. And I mean, I'm very confused because I'm still trying to understand like how did this happen. And I feel like a lot of us are trying to understand, like, how did this happen? So I feel like, okay, I watched the documentary twice. I watched it twice because I wanted to know what the hell was going on. And, for Chris and I, we have our podcast and we both do separate things on our own, that we're interested in, our hobbies and things like that. But I don't think we ever take on, too much. And I think that for me, I kind of bounced around in the industry a bit from doing, basic consulting to photography and things like that. But there came a time where I was like, I'm doing too many things at once.
Right.
And right then and there, I was able to cut it off. And
it gets to you. It gets to you, definitely.
Yeah, it fucks with your mental health and puts you in an unstable place. So watching this documentary, I'm trying to figure out how Ja Rule, who's been in the industry for years, decades, how the hell he let himself get so overwhelmed with this bullshit. I mean, I'm just not understanding what happened.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I just feel like he took on all that to be relevant again, just because everything that went down with 50 and Am and everybody that just kind of pretty much ended him.
Right.
I feel like he thought like this was his way back into the game, but homie, it blew up in your face. And you know what I mean? It went worse. So it's like, you got to know how to approach things, especially in the industry where the industry is ruthless. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Now
like,
you're going to be getting dragged for the next, 5 years because of this.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
And it hurt a lot of people. And I think that, for me, I just wanted to touch on that too, because I feel like so many projects at once. I feel like if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, do one thing at a time. There's no rush to try to be the greatest, to try to be, yes, you want to see yourself succeed, but at what cost? You don't want to hurt people. You don't want to, put yourself in financial debt, because I think that is one of the biggest things that we're dealing with right now as people living in this time. We are constantly trying to do 14 things at once, and then we end up fucking ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like this guy did, and now he's going to prison, or he was in prison, for this issue.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know how to tackle shit, what to go with, what not to go with, because it could blow up in your face, and it could really fuck you up and ruin your life, and you ruin your name for years, and you know what I mean? So and that's all you got. I think nowadays, that's all you got is your name and the respect. Like Birdman said, put some respect on my name. Like, that's all you have. And now nobody is going to respect, Ja Rule or, respect this Billy dude. And I'm going to be honest with you, until I watched the documentary, I didn't even know what the hell this thing was about. I didn't know anything about the Fire Festival. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. No, I didn't either.
So until that, documentary, and now half the people in this documentary are going to be getting made fun of for the next, 5 years.
There's a quote that I saw this morning. I'm probably going to fucking kill it because I don't remember what it was, but it says something about, be careful with how much shit you're doing to impress people, because you won't even imagine how, for the short amount of time, that people will talk about you when you're dead.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, when you're alive, you're doing all these things to impress people and to be remembered, and it blows up in your face, and then you die, and then people will talk about you. If it was a big, impact you left, people will talk about you, but then they're eventually going to forget about you. Unless it's and that's it. So it's like, you need to be careful. You need to watch out, how much energy and effort you put into something, and really think about is this really worth me risking everything that I stand for?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when you die, that's it. Nobody's gonna be like, you know what I mean? Oh, well, remember when he did that? No, it's like,
right. And I think that
eventually no one's gonna remember.
Right. And I feel like, life is short, and it's too short to be putting yourself. Everybody makes mistakes. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to fuck up and start over again. But I feel like certain people, they live in that mistake, and it's never ending. And I feel like for this Billy dude and Ja Rule, I feel like this is not the first time that they've made these dumb mistakes. Yeah. So I feel like really bad for saying this, but they kind of got what they deserved.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, a different subject, kind of getting off completely the entertainment side of the podcast. As many of you guys know, I'm going to school for psychology, so I'm really into this whole psychology shit and anything that has to do with it. And so this is one thing that I read. It's a theory that I was reading over the weekend, and I kind of touched base on it last semester when I was taking I think it was human development, whatever the fuck I took. And what I spoke about, the 5 stages of grief, and usually people kind of relate that to a death, and a close death, or a divorce of anything, where you have the denial, then it comes the anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. Well, this theory that I read, it was talking about you pretty much associating the 5 stages of grief and them being the exact same 5 stages that you go through when you fall in love. And I think that's really fucking crazy. Hear me out. It might be, you guys probably think it's fucking crazy right now. Like, I'm not saying it in a negative way, but so, like I said, in the 5 stages of grief, you start with denial, where you won't accept. Like, let's say, for example, somebody dies in your family. Your mom dies, and you're in denial at the beginning. You're like, no, this didn't happen. It wasn't her. She's still okay. I'm gonna come home to her. She's fine. You're in denial because you refuse to accept the fact that that person's really gone. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about it in the love part. When you fall in love with somebody, and this is all from a theory. I'm not saying this is true or not true, but I stand behind it. I think it's really fucking interesting, and it could be pretty accurate. The first stage is denial, like I said. So in love, when you're falling in love, you're in denial, where you meet. Let's say you meet somebody, and this person's great. She's she's beautiful. You like everything about them. They make you laugh, all this other shit. But little by little you start realizing, you start finding all these like faults in them and all these mistakes and things that they do that you don't like or things that may be toxic. But that's where the denial comes in, where because you're so infatuated with the person and so in love with them, you feel like that'll change. You feel like that person will change. It'll get better. Eventually, you guys will be better. He'll stop doing or she'll stop doing that shit that you fucking hate so much. Obviously, that doesn't ever really happen, but that's the first stage, of denial. And then it becomes the second stage, which is anger. Anger is when you get angry, when the person, going back to the death, you get angry at the world, or you get angry at God if you believe in Him, or you get angry at the doctors or whoever was taking care of, or just life for taking that person away from you. And so you're angry because you don't know how else to deal with that shit. So you get angry, you start blaming it on everybody. But, instead of just realizing that that's just a part of life, you decide to get angry at it. It's the same thing in love. You start getting angry at the person. You guys start fighting because instead of, because of denial, when the denial came into place and you didn't address the problems, now there's the anger where you guys start fighting over the shit that you thought the person was going to stop doing or fix, and it never got fixed. So the anger becomes part of the relationship. That's the second stage where now you guys are fighting, there's breaking up, and there's you sleeping on the couch or leaving or the other bullshit. So it's kind of crazy because it's all kind of like, I hope you guys are still like with me and you guys are still kind of like thinking about it and kind of like realizing what I'm going with. Because then you go to the third stage, which is bargaining. The bargaining is you kind of like, when the death of you kind of like, you start praying to Jesus or the doctor's like, oh, look, man, I know he's dead, but no, don't let him die. Like, look, I'll give him my heart or whatever, or I'll do better. I'll stop cheating. I'll stop drinking. I'll stop gambling if I can get this person back. So you start bargaining with whoever, Jesus or life or whoever it is you think you can bargain with to get that person back. You the same way in love. Once you find out that the person, or it's planning on leaving, like because there was no fixing the shit that was wrong in the first place, you start bargaining. Look, if you choose to stay, I promise I'll stop cheating. I promise I'll start cleaning my shit. I'll start texting you faster, or I'll stop being so distant. So you're bargaining. So it's like all these steps. It's kind of crazy how it's all the same. The fourth stage is depression. Depression in that is when you realize that the person is gone, and it fucking breaks you. You're crying every day. You stop eating. You start drinking. You start picking up all these bad habits because that person, is really gone. They died. So it's the same thing in love, where you start, it breaks you down because you realize that you're losing that person, and all the shit that you could have fixed in the first place, you didn't. So now the person, like, you really see that the person is really about leaving. So depression kicks in, and you start, like I said, you stop eating, you stop giving, caring about your image, you stop being about you don't no longer feel anything that makes you happy, and so that's that's depression. And then the last one is acceptance, where you obviously acceptance is self-explanatory, where you finally accept that the person's gone. Whether it's in death or in love or whatever it is, in divorce, you finally, you accept that the person's really gone, and you realize that, life keeps on going without that person, and you know that you deserve to be happy. So you start, picking back up all the pieces, and you start, trying to fix all the bullshit that you did wrong, and on your own, and you start trying to like find that self-happiness again to be a better person again. So like, I mean, hopefully you guys kind of understand what I was going with this. It's kind of crazy that those 5 stages could be related to love and from grief to love, because I feel like that's what it all goes through, that shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people can get through it, but, when you get through it, I think when you finally, if you can find that person that you kind of fix everything with, I think it stops at the third step, which is bargaining. I still think that's what there's no 5 stages. The bargaining, you stop, the other person says, okay, this person really wants to change. He really wants to fix shit, so let's just give it another chance. Mm-hmm. So, and
just to, I haven't done any research on it, but with Chris explaining and talking about it, I actually know someone who is going through these stages right now. And it's insane because you wouldn't think about it, but there comes a time where you start to mourn, the death of a relationship or different, aspects of a relationship. And this friend is very close to me. I love her very much. But she is in these stages right now. And I think she's at the final stage of acceptance, realizing that, she's knowing that this person is not good for her. She's knowing that, this is the end of the road and that she's going to have to do what she needs to do. She's actually, she's moved from another state just to get her life in order, and to jump back into being on her own. So I definitely think that, as crazy as it sounds, it's very plausible, and it's, it's there to show you that the relationships are very, very, very strange. And it's, there's a reason why they take over one's lives, because it's so many emotions and so many things into one. So that
100%.
that definitely makes sense to me.
Yeah. And so shout out to her, because she's getting through it. Like, your friend. It's cool that you can get through it and be better.
Yeah.
The worst you can do is let a relationship just kind of change your whole outlook on everything, and just, change it for the worse. Like, that's where I was at, a couple weeks ago. But it's no, you know what I mean, you can't get mad at the other person. They all have their motives, and just keep it moving. They're not worth your time, they're not worth your energy for you to just be like, I fucking, I'll never date again, and fuck everybody love and all shit. Like, that's what I was saying, and it's not like that, you know what I mean?
Right. And I think
people come and go, and they're lessons. That's all it is. People are lessons.
And the biggest thing too is, like, human beings are very complex, and I realized that a long time ago, I realized, I'm through trying to always figure out what someone else is going through. Like, not in a negative way, but if we end up not being friends, or we end up not being in a relationship, I stop it right there. I don't go any further to try to dive into the person's, their train of thought. I just don't put myself in that position, because then that leads you, to be hurt. It opens 7 other doors when you just want to close that one door of being hurt. So once you can, the relationship has come to an end, you dead it, and then you move on. And I think that is one thing that a lot of us, can try to do. And I've struggled with myself. And also, speaking of that, it kind of makes me want to talk about Cardi B real quick, because her and Offset are going back and forth. And I don't really care, because I love Cardi a lot. And that's what makes me mad. Right. And I've been that woman that's taken back that piece of shit dude. And I finally learned on my own, this person's not good for me. And it's not until, you look fucking stupid and you realize, like, I need to let this person go. And I think that with her being in the news and everything, Cardi B is an amazing woman. I don't care what anyone says. She's a great person. She's funny. She's a great mom. She loves that little baby. And, she loves her husband, and we can't fault her for that. Right. We can't fault her for not seeing that,
Especially with a kid in the middle of it.
Right. And she's in that, like you said, that 5 stage. She's in those stages right now.
Yeah, I feel like they're in the bargaining stage, maybe, where they're, Offset said, yeah, I'm going to stop cheating on you with the dolls, whatever.
Right, with all these dolls, like, people.
Jesus.
And I feel like, she also has to get through that and learn on her own. So I just wanted to quickly touch on that before we hop into our final subject, which is going to be biracial dating. I'm in a biracial relationship. My husband is white. I am black. I don't know why I had to hesitate on that. Forgot what color I am. And it's weird because it's not weird because I love him, but it's weird because, in this day and age, we still get those looks. Whenever I say, yeah, my husband's white, or someone asks me to see a picture of my family and they see this white man, they're very confused. And I'm very confused because I'm like, okay, we fell in love because of love, not because of our skin color. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's my little insight on that. We're still living in that time, where people have comments to say about being in,
Sadly, 2019, people still won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, my ex was Hispanic, and people found that weird. People found that to be weird, which was, insane to me, because I was like, what does that have to do? Then they ask you the dumb questions about, how does your family feel about that? How the hell would they feel? Like, I brought home someone that's a different, race or culture, not a dinosaur, and they don't really give a fuck,
Where's he from?
He was from Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the people that I've met that, are white, and they're dating a Hispanic male or female, and they're not from Puerto Rico, or they're actually, not American, the first thing that I always fucking hear is, is he dating you to get a green card? I'm like, fam, do you know? Here's the thing, a lot of people ask me that because, by the way, another one of the things of me being on my own again is I also finally landed an amazing job. And I'm really excited for it. I've been trying to, change up for a while, and it's finally happening. also I'm finally decided to finish the process to become U.S. citizen. Right now, I'm a permanent resident. You know, I'm not illegal here, so watch what the fuck you say. But I finally, you know, for a while, just kind of like, it's just money. I don't really care about spending, and do I really give a fuck about like what? So I can't vote if I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But then I ended up kind of like growing up and be like, nah, it's important. If I want to travel all the places, you know what I mean? So shout out to me for that. But what I was getting is like, when people were asking me, like, when I was telling some of my, you know, female friends, like, or males too, like, oh yeah, well, I'm, you know, in the process and I had to pay all this money to become a citizen. The first thing that they, you know, refer to is like, well, why don't you just, you know, marry an American female and then automatically become a citizen? I'm like, fam, I know that Hollywood kind of made it like, where it's just you magically become a citizen if you marry a white girl. It doesn't work like that. The process is so much more fucking extensive.
Right, this is not a movie
and long.
or a TV
you guys
show.
ever seen The Proposal with my boy Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock? It's like that. Like, they literally fucking dig through everything they can to see the motive behind you. Like, are you marrying just for the green card? Are you guys really in love? Do you guys live together? Do you know everything about each other? It's crazy. So they investigate all this shit. You have to pay more money. So it's like, nah, fam, I'm gonna do it on my own. Like, no, I'm not getting married to somebody. Like, look, I can't even keep a real relationship. So what the hell makes you think I'm gonna be able to keep one for money?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like fam, that's too much work, dog. You know.
There's so much that goes into that.
Yeah.
So it's not just like...
It's not just like, oh, we're going to get married because...
Right, in the 90s, people joked about it, and it was so funny. But, you know, as we got older, I think we realized, like, it is literally not that simple to just marry someone for a green card. Not at all. You know, so I think it's very fucking stupid when people bring up that point. And I've seen a lot of that. Just marry a white girl. No, fam. I'm good. Right. No offense, but no. Right. I mean, we all like what we like, and if you decide to date someone that's yellow, brown, whatever, you are free to do that. I feel like, you know,
for sure.
When I look at an interracial couple, I don't think anything different but the fact that, oh, there's a man and a woman standing in my way at the, you know, grocery store. Yeah. I don't look at them and think that it's different or it's weird. I don't care.
I look at all couples like it's disgusting because, you know, I'm single and I'm bitter and I'm like, fuck y'all in love and shit. Fuck all y'all. No, I'm just playing. But no, there's really no. What I wanted to, it's another kind of like point of view that I wanted to bring up with biracial dating, and it was something that I was kind of reading into and listening to a couple of days ago, where they were saying that black females look at black males that decide to date white females in a negative way, as in like, and that's the other thing is, it's not just African American females. A lot of, like, for example, a lot of rap music, they talk about getting with a white female as, like, a trophy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they look at it as, like, it's an accomplishment for you to bag a white girl when you're a black man. And Nick Cannon was talking about this in a show that I watched a clip of on YouTube not that long ago, where he was saying that they do it because their ancestors, their grandparents, their parents, whoever that were, you know, back in the day where, you know, black people had no rights, where, you know, like, the white people were their masters and they owned black people and they could tell them whatever the fuck they wanted and hit them and everything. So now for a black man to bag a white girl, it's like a trophy. It's like a slap in the face to white society. Like, oh, you remember, like, you know, not that long ago, you guys, you know, we were your slaves and you guys were my masters. Now I'm bringing your white daughter home and I'm, you know,
that makes sense.
Smashing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I never really thought about it like that, but I was like, holy shit, like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's crazy because now the other problem is,
it just really made me like have a That's So Raven moment because
I'm
thinking about when I date white men, you know, exclusively, and I feel like, well, not date because I'm married, but before I would date white men, and whenever I would go to their houses, their parents would look at me like I was like, you know, from outer space. Right. So that makes so much sense.
Right. And then the other thing is like looking at it from a perspective of a African American female having a problem with a male, the way a male talks about bagging a white girl in a positive way in the music. It's not the same way they talk about African American females in music, where they talk about them being hoes and bitches.
We're bitches, we're loud.
And you were loud,
we're ghetto.
And we ain't shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the problem. It's a problem, obviously. And I see why, you know, African American females feel a negative way towards it. And it's not because black men are dating white females.
And I'm going to put this out there and say that the biggest threat to black women are black men. They target us. They make us feel like we're not wanted, versus to where I could post a picture of myself and half the responses would be, you know, a white dude or a Spanish guy saying, hey, you're pretty.
Right.
And a black guy would be like, okay, well, this is missing about you. You know, this is, off about you. They don't appreciate, you know, the beauty of.
And not to knock on people's like preferences, because if you really just prefer a certain type of people over a certain type of people.
Right. That's your prerogative.
That's fine. But doesn't mean that you need to put down the other type of people at all.
And I never even thought about it like that until you
crazy.
said it.
Like, it's not like me. I love. I hate everybody, but I love everybody. You know what I mean? I don't have a preference of who I'm gonna be with, I've been with black females. I've been with white females, Hispanic females. You guys are all fucking crazy. So, you know, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? But it's like, the problem is like that. What I'm trying to get at is, we need to stop as males. Like, and I even posted something on Facebook the other day when I was like, us as males need to do better. Like, we do. The way we talk about certain type of people, like, it needs to stop. You know what I mean? Like, if you like I said, if you like a certain type of, you know, people, that's cool, but you don't need to put down the other types.
Right. I feel like you don't need to knock someone down in order to.
You don't need to say, I like white women because black women ain't shit. You can just say, I just prefer like white women, or I just prefer black women. That's all you need to leave it at. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why a lot of the rap and it's like it's trash, and that's why like people like bring it back to J. Cole and Kendrick and shit, because they don't, you know, they have a different way of viewing shit,
and they
you know
embrace
what I mean?
they and I hate to say this, you know, but I not hate to say it, but they embrace, you know, black women as we are. They know. I feel like I sound kind of weird saying this, but black women have been through a lot. Hispanic women have been through a lot. You know, as people, you know, people of color, we are always having to struggle and prove and try to be something that we're not, you know, to fit into a world that didn't want us to begin with.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, when we see all these people, you know, talking to us some type of way and treating us some type of way, it hurts, and most likely from men. And I think that's why women think it's okay for them to be bitches to each other, because men don't respect us. We don't respect ourselves, you know, in that sense, to say, hey, listen, don't put me down in that way because I don't look like so-and-so.
Right.
And therefore it creates a vicious cycle of everyone just tearing each other down because they don't know how to, you know, separate their differences and still just be okay. Like you said, you can like whomever you want to be with, but by no means did you have to put someone down.
No, not at all. There's no need for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need to put down a certain type of people. This is, you know, it's 2019. This is like, especially now, everything is going down. We need to, you know, we need to come together, and we need to all, you know, unite and fix what the fuck is going on with society, instead of just continuing to, you know, be shit. You know, like none of us, we ain't shit. None of us. We're just, you know, we're
everybody's trying to get through life and trying to just, you know, make it through. So yeah, like we said, we're going to make our episodes longer. We kind of want to start wrapping up, but I do want to let you guys know one thing. Recording this podcast, Chris is my best friend, and, you know, we like to do this and just have fun. So you're going to hear some stuff in the background. We're going to be eating. My husband will probably come in and bring us food now that he's obviously doing this randomly during this episode.
This is real life.
Right. This is real life, and we want you guys to know, like, we're just two friends talking and relaxing, having a good time, and talking about things that are important to us. So I feel like, you know, listening to the podcast, we appreciate every single one of you that continue to support us, and look for us. We're going to be doing big things here in the next couple of months. We're going to be out doing events with the Urban Trade. So shout out to Susan Phillips, and if you're on Instagram or Snapchat, Twitter, follow her. It's at the Urban Trade. We're going to be doing a lot of events with her coming up in the next few months. So yeah, we just want to thank you guys for just listening to us and giving us the opportunity to just have our own voices and, you know, use these podcast platforms. This is not something that we do because it's trendy. We actually just like talking about things and having
talking shit. You guys know, everybody that knows me personally, you guys know I love to talk my shit. And if I can do it in front of a fucking microphone and people can hear me, I'm with it.
Right.
And so like Jem said, you know, I appreciate you guys kind of like just, you know, staying and waiting. I know a lot of y'all have been asking me, yo, what's up with the podcast? When's the next episode? You know, apologize for being away for so long. A lot of shit that we've been going through, you know, with holidays and personal matters and, technical difficulties, all that other bullshit. But we're good now. I think we're back. We finally figured it out. So we're going to try to do it at least bi-weekly episodes and, talk our shit. And also, so I guess I just wanted to, appreciate everybody who supports us and shares our shit and asks about the episodes and, compliments and everything. And if you, one thing I wanted to know is, or let you guys know is, if you guys have, starting a business or anything, anything you guys want us to talk about on the podcast and kind of, advertise, just, hit me up. We have no problem, just
we'll
starting.
Post it on our Instagram.
You know what I mean?
Guys,
post it. Yeah. Just let us know. I have spoken to a young lady when we first started the episodes. I won't say the name because I don't remember. But I had messaged her and told her about, because I think she does, drawing and shit like that.
Okay.
They're really beautiful pictures. So, just like that. And if you guys wanted to talk about it, just hit us up and message me or Jem or message us on our podcast page on Facebook or Instagram, at All Talk with Jem and Chris. And just let us know what you want us to do. And we have no problem helping out. So, with that being said, we're about to, wrap this shit up. I'm going to finish my plate of food. And, appreciate you guys.
We'll see you guys in another 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derek, who does our audio engineering.
Shout out to Derek. He's been
amazing.
So patient. Yeah, checking up.
So, shout out to you guys for just, stay great and, be encouraging, be kind, and, remember to always speak your truth no matter what it is. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and we hope you guys have a good week.
Be decent human beings, all that shit. And like I said, we should have this episode out no later than Friday, maybe before. But, just stay up, focus on the pages, and we'll be posting shit with the progress. But like I said, no later than Friday, this episode should be fully mastered and ready for y'all to, bump it. So, thanks a lot, everybody. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Later. Bye.
This episode of All Talk with Jem and Chris was brought to you by JMSCA Media. Please follow us on Instagram at JMSCA Media and check out our website at giftofgab.space.